Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online. In today's video I'm taking a new Jackdaw out for an exploration spin. This is actually a fit that was given to me by a viewer as an alternative to the auto Jackdaw, the single rep stable auto Jackdaw that I had been using most of the time. Unfortunately, in the latest event, I lost the auto Jackdaw to a VIP site. Entered in there, came up against a character that had everything deployed and was blabbed before I managed to warp out. So that was quite a bit of a surprise. Here, the fitting of this one will also be shared in the description of the video. The big difference, of course, we are talking take 1 rep, but potentially a double rep. And the good news is that 1 rep is cap stable, and then the second one is basically like an emergency extra repping if you need it. So I hope that we'll get to take a look at it and see how it performs in a combat site. And let's get started here in Chunka. In the meantime, I thought I would also talk a little bit about Amsterdam, because I did catch some of the recordings from the streams, and some of the presentations and information there I feel is pretty cool and pretty interesting. My favorite talk has to be the one from CCP Ghost, of course, about the passion of the players and the more hardcore players. Well, if you want to be hardcore for CCP Ghost, that means that you have to play around 4.4 hours a day, every day at least, and have 13 alts. So that's quite a very high number, and pretty damn surprised to see that people have, like, well, not really surprised, but I mean 13 alts is such a high number that, to me, being more of a solo-minded player, not someone that is all that drawn necessarily by the social dynamics in the game itself, it feels kind of strange to go to such lengths for EVE Online. But yeah, there's obviously players out there as well, and a big part of that talk was about the social dynamics and the social structures that are built up in the game. So for me, it is a little bit different. I am mostly a solo player, solo-minded, and I game to relax. And for me, well, I'm more of an introverted person, so relaxation is more something that I tend to do on my own. I don't need to be on comms or something like that in order to enjoy the game and get some energy back from the game. Just something like this, exploring, whether or not I'm recording it, for me is how I enjoy EVE Online. And then, of course, sharing everything at my own pace is basically what I try to do with the videos here. But yeah, a big aspect, of course, to a lot of people, most people are not introverts, is the social aspect of the game. And it was a very, very cool discussion, breaking down all his research into the topic to find out basically what is so important in all of this for the player. So we get some combat sites in this first system, but nothing that great that I'm interested in right now. So this is also my first run, so we'll just go through all of these signatures that are available in my regular round, and then we'll see if we find something, or if we need to do a second round, maybe grab something like some Sasha refuges or stuff like that. So yeah, the talk from CCP Ghosts, definitely try to find that, absolutely worth it, very interesting. Next up, well, there's a refuge and stuff like that here, but no signatures. We have the talks about the upcoming changes. I think was mostly CCP Fuzzy that explained the balance changes, with, of course, the diminishing return on the remote reps that is coming and will be mass tested normally as this video comes out. But yeah, very interesting. I personally feel like they are trying their best to keep the game healthy, to keep the game balanced, and obviously they're starting tier and things like that as well. So lots of good information there, but nothing new. We knew all of that already from the dev blogs, of course. We get the new Triglavian ships, Take 2 versions. So I think that's the first new Take 2 ships to come out in quite a long time. Very interested to see what the cruiser will be able to do, of course, because exploration cruisers are my bread and butter. But we also have a Take 2 frigate. Well, potentially. I even tried and a command destroyer with better resistance. I tried those ships out as well. They're definitely interesting, but being Tech 1, it is a very big difference. Compare that to like really a faction cruiser or a Tech 2 ship, of course, which has those much better resistances. So yeah, new ships, more skills to train because of that as well, of course. And I still have to get the battle cruiser skill. By the way, that reminds me, something that I need to go and grab and train at some point as well. A haunted yard could be good to do on the second round, but we're just gonna keep going here. And yeah, new ships. The Triglavian CCP is really going into the abyss, the Triglavian lore, and apparently planning lots of story-driven elements about those guys as well in the game. So I'm excited for that. That definitely looks pretty cool. New ships to explore, hopefully new content as well. And then of course the lore aspects of it is something that for a more solo-minded player like myself has always drawn me quite a lot in EVE Online as well. So let's hope that it becomes pretty good. And then we also had a bit of a teaser on the rework for the agency. So something that I definitely was not too happy about was basically all of this real estate here. Sure, you've got a map, but all of that, which is not that useful. You tend to know where you fly. And all of that real estate quite often... Ooh, I actually still have an escalation site in the Tal. Alright, well, we'll have to take a look at that later on as well. Just to provide more information, they could definitely have provided a lot more information, especially on the events that they run, the non-regular events that they run, in order to point players out to, well, this is something that's very easy for everyone. As I've said, I would love to see tiers in there. Something that you'll want a battleship, Tech 2 tank, you want to be Omega, and something that is actually fleet content and things like that. So it looks like they're definitely heading in that direction with the rework that we saw. It was only teasers, all of it work in progress, of course. But what I found very interesting was also the public fleets that they're going to try to incorporate in the agency. Now, I think I agree with most commenters that I saw there. I hope that it doesn't mean that they are going to put the entire fleet mechanic, the entire fleet window into the agency, but that this is purely for the public fleets that you create. But that is, in my opinion, a pretty cool idea to try and bring people into fleets in EVE Online. It's not an easy thing to do, especially for me as a solo player, right? You know, it's not like I have lots of corporation or alliance fleets or anything like that going. And perhaps running some Sasha Watch. Unfortunately, the drops there are not that good, so we're moving on to the next system on that one, but good to know that it's here as well. And as I was saying, yeah, for me, fleeting up is something that I very rarely do. At most, it's when my brother comes online, and then we try to play a little bit together. But other than that, I rarely ever really fleet, because I like my privacy, I like my own little space, do my own little thing, and not become dependent on others or have others depend on me too much. But with public fleets, perhaps, you know, I'm toying with the idea of perhaps I should make a noob-friendly exploration fleet where they can come in with Tech 1 cruisers. I'll get some remote reps on my ships, and then we'll just try to guide them in the exploration business. For instance, some mining fleets as well could be pretty good. I, of course, have the Orca that can boost some people, so if there's anyone that wants to mine when I mine, I might set up fleets like that. We will see, of course, how CCP deploys all of that, and when it will be deployed, and what I can manage to do. Because for me, of course, one thing is very important. This is all for fun. This is just a hobby for me, and I definitely plan to keep it that way. So I don't want to overpromise anything either. This is just something that I personally do think it could be cool, and I might try my hand on some public fleets when it becomes a bit easier to set them up and to find them. So we'll see if that works out. And yeah, overall, my general vibe here for Amsterdam, well, it's just the first one of the invasion tour, so obviously CCP held back a little bit. I think they will have held back on quite a few major plans and announcements as well, but I like what I've seen so far here with the continued efforts for the rebalancing of the game. The nerfs to the Rorqual, yeah, at first I thought it doesn't feel like they're that big nerfs. nerfs, but it does look like they're getting nerfs on their individual capabilities that are very significant, and I wonder if this is going to fix the mineral market a little bit or not. And then of course the rework of the agency, Fleet Finder, the new ships. Overall, yeah, looking pretty good for our run up to the summer, in my opinion. So let's keep going. Just to end it out here for Amsterdam, I would highly recommend that you try and find some time to take a look at the streams, and hopefully CCP will post the talks as well on their YouTube channel, of course, so that you can find them there. Let's get going here with that exploration, though. We haven't really found anything too great just yet. Another haunted yard, so that can have some good loot in it, but I would rather test the ship a little bit to see what it's actually capable of. In like a 4 out of 10 would be ideal, or well, a vigil doesn't really, I mean, you get that initial burst, but you know to go in there in defense mode, so I don't think that that would be too big a deal. Yeah, 4 out of 10 would be perfect to test out this fit for the Jackdaw. Now this is another combat site, but we started so big that it's not gonna be anything too good. And then, oh, got a new mail from McGregor there. Chemical yards, alright. And we'll move up to Upper Devil. Sometimes Lower Devil is actually a decently busy system because of the research there, so quite often the good sites are taken. Upper Devil is a bit quieter and can often be a good one, so we'll definitely give that one a go as well. And in the meantime, well, since I'm done talking about Amsterdam, let me show you guys the fit that was created and suggested to me. So we get light missile launcher 2s, in this case with some faction missiles. I also grabbed some auto targeting missiles just because I like the dynamic of running that on the auto Jackdaw. We've got 2 we actually have a bay loading accelerator and a Warhead Calefaction catalyst for more DPS. Then in the low slots we have 2 ballistic control systems and a damage control for some extra resistance. We've got an A-type 1MN Afterburner. That's probably the most expensive module on here, probably needed for the fitting. Look at that, 0.5 CPU remaining only. And then we have actually a Kinetic, Deflection and an EM Ward Amplifier with 2 small C5 emergency ship shield reps, which one of them, so not sure if I think I should be okay. Put this offline. One of them is stable, and then so the second one is more like your emergency rep, of course. Looks pretty interesting, definitely in line with, and is that one pretty big? No, actually I thought this was bigger, but it was because it was right in front of the camera. Yeah, but in line with the auto Jackdaw, just a bit of a different philosophy on it here and there, and I definitely want to take a look at it. I actually got this fit quite a while ago. This ship has been sitting in my hangar for quite a bit. But yeah, now that I lost the auto Jackdaw, it's time to take a look at that replacement, of course. Now that combat site's coming in and is actually pretty close to that hideout that we focused on, and still pretty small in what we found so far, so that could be good. I'm also alone in a system with, as I've said, and there we go, Session Command Relay, not the one that's gonna test the tank, but definitely the one that's gonna be fun to do with all of these light missiles. So let's quickly jump into that, try to grab that loot, and then see what else we can find. So we're definitely heading that way. Now let's see what else we've got in the system, if I can try and combine that. Always helps to be a little bit more efficient, of course. So off we warp. Another one. Okay. Let's hope that I stay alone in local. That's pretty lucky. So that's the second one. Then we still have something to grab over there. In the meantime, we're gonna take the gate. I'm actually going to try to combine the exploration then with the auto-targeting missiles, see if I can get that to work. And so we still have a few signatures to go. Oh, it's actually all the way down here, so probably won't be too good, but it's another combat site. Yeah. Considering we're at like 30% already. Alright, let's orbit that gate. First one, so we can start firing the missiles. I like to stagger them. That makes for a pretty cool effect. That's just a desolate site. Now we're gonna take a look at this one. Then we do want to see if I can find the boss. Oh, and start repping a little bit actively as well, of course. That's just a rogue drone asteroid. And now we still have one to go over here. I think that's the Black Ops that I want potentially the loot from. Nope, it's not. Is he done already? We might miss that then. But trying to save a little bit of time by doing the whole exploration is gonna be helpful. In the meantime, my missiles are eating everything up here. You can see that the amount of enemies is going down quite steadily. It's another combat site. That's cool. Let's see if it's a good one. And let's see if... unfortunately, it's just a desolate site, right? Yeah, so we do have a second command relay to do in a moment. In the meantime, I'm gonna allow my missiles to do their thing. And that's the Overseer wreck. Alright, I'm pretty lucky. It's quite nearby. Oh, and I wonder if I'm cap stable if I also activate the Afterburner on this one. Grab that loot. Unfortunately, that's nothing. Let's start aligning with the gate. No need for that extra speed. And no need to waste our time actually on these sentry guns. So let's go. And yeah, completely off screen basically. But the auto missiles did just eat through the enemy quite efficiently, the way you would think the auto Jackdaw functions as well, of course. And now you're here in sharpshooter mode. We can shoot up to 70 kilometers away, which means that we can give this a go like this. Let's see how a single missile launcher takes on some of these destroyers. Get a little bit of incoming damage, but that'll be easily repped. So that's the second one, and then that one goes down. Yeah, that's pretty okay, I think. Then we get a bigger target as well if we want in the launchers, but we're gonna take these guys out like this first. And then maybe focus on one of these launchers. Can't target anything more. And so this is how you can snipe, of course. Because if you get that long range, they all need to close in. And then they're perfectly aligned for your missiles to just blap them all down. Now, something that's got some more HP, like this battery. I think you want to do a full focus on that. We'll start targeting this stuff. And in the meantime, we'll start moving towards the Black Ops Commander, which we'll switch to after the battery is destroyed. Yeah, DPS. Not really sure. I think it's down a bit from the auto Jackdaw because of the damage control. And then its regular rep here, of course, is not that strong because it is a small tech 1 repper. But I think it's chosen specifically because of the fitting restraints. You can see that there really is not that much left. And so in case of emergency, too bad there's no loot here. Like now, you're getting some extra hits. Well, just use that capacitor. Go after... whoa. Look at that. I'm actually slowly breaking already. Let's see if we can keep this up. Oh, it's also... I am, of course, standing still now. In case of a real emergency, we'll see how we do taking those guys out. But, yeah. Man. The faction tank, look at my cap being completely depleted. So you can always go into defense mode, of course. Which is probably what you want to do. Go into defense mode, then use the cap and your emergency, your second booster. But This doesn't feel as reliable right now as the auto Jackdaw with the pure stable, but the faction rep there and the extra damage, I think, for full damage low slots. Man, now I actually want to take a look at that myself. Let's see if I can find my current Jackdaw fits. So that is with the bling right here. So you've got the Gistum A-type, which is 170 HP per 3 seconds, and this does, yeah, 31 HP per 2 seconds. That's a big difference, and this kept stable with more specialized resistances as well, and then 3 ballistic control systems. Well, the rigs are overclocking and then some extra cap, but that tank in and of itself is just a lot stronger. What does it take for fitting? Let's take a look at that. 4312. What does this take for fitting? Yeah. All right. Interesting concept, but I gotta say, this tank doesn't feel that great. Not as great as the auto Jackdaw. You'll basically have to play with going into defense mode a little bit more. All right, let's get back with the, especially in the 4 out of 10. I'm really curious to see how that would work out. So we're gonna take a look at that first room again with the auto missiles. Let's see if we can find, is it him? Like that. Like that. Oh, start repping, of course. And then there is the squad leader. In the meantime, the missiles going after the closest target always, if I'm not mistaken. No. Oh, yep, there you go. He switched from that one to that one because he was closer. And now he switched to this one because that one is closer. Yep, there you go. All the targeting missiles always going after the closest targets. Next up, we've got the squad leader. Let's see how much damage. This probably has a bit more damage. Can I see that actually? 205 DPS. And so then if I take a look at this one, it doesn't say actually. Let's see, can I add this? Yeah, 154. Because of the rigs. Exit simulation. Yes, take that. Yes. Because of the rigs, it does have more damage. Alright, I'm a bit surprised by that. It doesn't necessarily feel like it. So again, a 4 out of 10 would be a great test actually. Alright, let's grab that bit of loot if we can. See, the cap regen, not super fast either. Overseer frigates, that's what I want. Afterburner, go. This should make you pretty fast. So we're actually gonna try that as well in the second room, I think. To see if we can guide the incoming damage by just having the Afterburner go. So we just need a couple more of these guys to die. That one is gone, and that one is gone as well. Alright. What's the range with the auto targeting missiles? Still 70 kilometers. Alright, that's not bad. Let's do a reload all. Take the gates. And let's see if we can just basically afterburn our way in an orbit, get a bit closer, but then see if we can guide the damage a bit better than what we did last time. So let's actually just take this guy and maybe orbit him at 10 or something. Definitely activate my afterburner. We're being targeted. So we're gonna try to do a nice staggered. Didn't work out that well. But here we go. Missiles going after the closest targets first, which is at the moment still mostly those destroyers. We are gonna target the Centum Black Ops here. Just to keep an eye on him. And then let's see if we can basically guide that damage with that speed from our faction Afterburner. Or am I gonna get too close in? And then am I gonna get... I think I'm gonna get... Yeah, I'm getting Yeah, tank is not that good. Let's move back out. Yeah, ooh, yeah, that's a lot of incoming damage. I gotta go into defensive mode right now. I gotta try to get out, and it's might even force me to get out of the side, I think, because these two reps are just not doing enough. Nope, they're just not doing enough. I'm actually gonna drain my cap like this. All right, warp out. Let's hope that we can make it. Would be really silly to lose another one of these. Go, go, go. Keep... Okay, that's alright. Phew. And, right, we just made it out, but... Sorry about that, viewer, whoever this is. This really doesn't feel as good as the auto Jackdaw, the faction rep in that one. So I'm gonna quickly re-show that again. It's right here with the bling. It's a medium shield booster as well, and that makes all the difference. So this is really the fit that you want compared to this one. Alright, let's go back and actually try to finish the sights. Then we'll put in the light missiles. We'll do a bit of active repping. And see if we can't get any loot from that. But yeah, I was forced to retreat just because these two small reps don't do enough HP per second once the onslaught gets going. And this would really struggle in the second room of a 4 out of 10. And individual as well. If you're caught by the web drones there, I think you're in a world of hurt. So definitely an interesting concept. I personally absolutely love the Jackdaw, but this one, just because of its lack of tank, does not compare to the auto Jackdaw, which means that I am going to refit this one to my auto Jackdaw fit. And that's what I'll be using rather than this double small thick one rep that we've got going on here. I will have to decide about the rigs though, because that is a decent amount of added DPS potentially. But of course, if I'm no longer cap stable, that might be a problem as well. But we'll take a look at that probably in the next one or in one of the next videos. I'm not sure when I'll find the time to... Let's actually zoom towards the gate, please. When I'll find the time to do all of that. But I thought it was an interesting test. I'm not even sure. Did I receive the ship or did I receive the fit? I think I even received the ship because I can't really remember buying this stuff myself. And yeah, the tank just isn't there for me personally. So you can get everything done, of course, with smart flying, and what you don't want to do is what I did just there, to like really dive in there, get too close to the enemies, and then hopefully the extra damage can basically help you clear out the bigger targets more quickly. But still, this was an interesting test that did not work out exactly the way I thought it would. So let's get back here. We're on our perch as a sniper. We're gonna start taking out these destroyers here first, and then let's see what the Black Ops commander decides to do. Is he gonna rush towards me or not? No, he's actually gonna bounce in his structure first. So let's take those guys out. Bit of active repping. Now, because of my range, of course, they're completely missing. And it was really just that destroyer DPS that was wrecking me. So we're gonna take him out, and then we're gonna put the rest on the Black Ops commander that is now approaching me from the looks of it. So we're gonna start approaching him as well, full speed ahead. More missiles on the targets. Oh, and there's still one left actually. Oh, he's down. Let's go. Adding more missiles. That one almost died, but his shields are already almost back as well. Let's see if we can finish that heavy missile battery. And now let's go take a look at the loot here. And then maybe see how we perform against one of these smaller sentry guns. And, well, nothing that great in value, but we did just get a faction drop. That one dies, so I am going to continue my round, but that will be it for the test of this ship. Honestly, I'm gonna refit it to my auto Jackdaw fit with the medium shield booster again. It just feels that much better, that much tankier. In my opinion, it's a better choice. We'll have to see if I switch out the rigs or not, because of course more damage does always help as well. That's gonna be it then for this video, guys. A little bit of Amsterdam talk as well. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and as always, I'll see you next time.